What is happening, YouTube? Clippers versus the Phoenix Suns. And guess who managed to pull off the victory? The Clippers, they were heavily, they were expected to pretty much just get stomped by the Phoenix Suns. Um, it was expected that the Suns just simply run over the Clippers like nothing because they had KD, Booker, Aiton, and CP3. And the last game against the Suns, we did not look really good at all. We played against their bench, and we pretty much was just in holiday mode. But this game, it was just different. Clippers managed to get it together. Um, it was just amazing basketball to see, and boy, this was a pretty heated game because my God, Russell Westbrook. A lot of people were killing this man for having a cold offensive night. Um, Me, personally, as an NBA fan, I came from a long way from Russell Westbrook. Just 2 months ago, I was really anti-Russ. I was like, nah, I'm not a big fan of Russell Westbrook whatsoever. And I really, really take back everything I said. If I had a time machine, I would just time travel at least like 2 months and just pretty much just smack myself in the head for everything what I said about Russ, because man, I did not really appreciate Russ game till right now, and mainly I was not a Russ guy because he was a Laker, but um, before when Russ was a Laker, I was a little bit more on a neutral side of the spectrum, but then later on I was like, I'm not the biggest fan sometimes, but Laker when he was a Laker, of course I talked a lot of smack and I really overlooked him, but now I'm actually one of the person who would actually be the first to defend Russell Westbrook, and this game definitely shows. But anyways, I'm gonna get into more depth of Russell Westbrook as soon as I get into the player by player stats. But Clippers started off charging, and then this I want to say like the third quarter, that's when the Clippers pretty much like kind of like almost fell apart, and then the Clippers just came back, and Russ he had a very very bad offensive night, but he pretty much like kind of outbalanced it by his grit and energy. And to be honest with you, um, I didn't even think Ty Lue really coached that good against the Phoenix Suns. I felt like his rotations was still very suspect, and as you can see the DNPs, that's good that Morris got DNPs, but Robert Covington, come on man, you got Kevin Durant playing, bro, and you got guys like Kevin Durant, of course, he drops 27 points, no surprise. But he got Torrey Craig dropping 22, man. Like, how is Robert Covington still getting DNPs? He's a really solid 3-point shooter, and he's a pretty good perimeter defender. And guys who can shoot threes will not do good against the guys like Robert Covington. So I really still think Ty Lue is bugging right now, and end of the season, I probably would lean towards just finding a coach who's willing to actually make a good solid rotations, like getting Covington in, and you know what I'm about to say, but I don't feel like the need to say it. But but anyways, I'm actually glad that we won this game. Like pretty much, you know, Talu's still running three guards lineups, and we still beat the pretty much the fully healthy Suns. That's actually pretty impressive. And Russ had an atrocious offensive night. So this game gives a lot of optimism. But anyways, let's start with Nico Batum. Nico Batum, offensive night was not too crazy. He had a pretty low rebounding night. Assists was, semi-average. I would say below average as that. But he was a very neutral factor. Really, he didn't really. He's not like he was not like a standout guy as how we would usually expect Batum in, and probably would have been a better option if gave Covington a try as a starter because I feel like Covington he's actually like an amazing defender and he's a and Covington's also a pretty efficient 3-point shooter when you would need him too. But then you got Batum who could also be an efficient 3-point shooter too. So I guess I'm okay with Batum starting, but would be nice if we could see at least Covington game like at least 20 minutes and maybe have Robert Covington close because when Covington actually got minutes, he really did his thing. And of course Kawhi Leonard, he dropped a whopping 38 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and playoff Kawhi, playoff Kawhi. Kawhi is reminding is gonna he's like for the past month, Kawhi has been dropping numbers, and a lot of people they've been forgetting about how good of a player Kawhi Leonard is. Personally, I still stand by the statement that Kawhi Leonard is the best basketball player in the world, and it sucks that Paul George is hurt, but at least this time we got Kawhi, and I would most definitely would rather have Kawhi Leonard than Paul George. Obviously, would be nice if we have playing both players, but at least we have Kawhi, and supposedly Paul George is not going to play until like the next series, which is this is going to be a tough one. If we could beat the Suns, that would be really amazing. And then Paul George comes back, and hopefully Paul George he would play pretty good, and hopefully he would not look really rusty when he returns. But this win is definitely a very good sign for the Clippers. My bad. Ivica Zubac. I really like what Zubac is starting to do. He's starting to become a more stronger, dominant double-double machine. 12 points, 15 rebounds. That man was crashing the glass like crazy. Like that boy would go for as many rebounds as he can, and his defense was, it was okay. It wasn't like as like extremely crazy, but Zubac, I really do like I really been defending Zubac for the whole entire year pretty much because that man can get you rebounds in. If you feed Zubac the ball more, he's gonna definitely show his game more. And when Zubac gets the ball, he can pound you down and then just get an easy nice jump hook. And I feel like that's one of the biggest pros of adding Russell Westbrook is you could kind of like unlock more of Ivica Zubac's potential. It's still pretty low shot attempt. We would love to see Zubac at least get a double digit shot attempts, but I think that um, Zubac has got more shot attempts. Like if you get like pre Russell Westbrook, Zubac would only be getting like 5 shot attempts at most, and now you're starting to slowly kind of increase to 8 or 10 and all that. So that's definitely a massive pro of adding Russell Westbrook. Now let's address the elephant of the room. 3 for 19, very very atrocious on the offensive game. Did Russell Westbrook had a massive stinker game in terms of scoring? Absolutely, it was terrible. But is Russell Westbrook like a Kwame Brown or Anthony Bennett or pretty much basically a complete garbage player? That's far from the truth. Let me tell you why. That man literally puts 100% his efforts on defense. Like, like he had KD when going like 0 for 5 in the first quarter and all that. And yeah, KD eventually found his rhythm, but that's pretty darn impressive. And Russell Westbrook during like the fourth quarter, he was going for blocks. He was like blocking a good amount of shots and all that, and always staying in front of the players. And he also got a charge like drew a charge and all that. That man was literally looking to grab a rebound. 10 rebounds. That's amazing. Um, Pretty much one of the best rebounding point guards. in history, honestly. Like I don't know a guy who could. I don't know a point guard at the moment that could rebound as good as Russell Westbrook, and not to mention he gives our guys like way better looks. So he would give our players around him better, like a better shot opportunity compared to the pre-Russell Westbrook era. It was all iso ball and everything, and no legit like ball movements. So it was a terrible offensive game for Russell Westbrook, but he definitely like he definitely had some goods as well too. And this is Russell Westbrook going 3 for 19. Can you imagine if like next game Russell Westbrook go like maybe like even like I would say like 40% from the field? Man, we definitely got this. I think the Clippers could take on the Phoenix Suns in 6, really, and we beat the Phoenix Suns with Russ Westbrook going 3 for 19. That was just amazing. And of course, it helped that he's really stepped up his all-around games because usually when players go for 3 for 19, they're completely terrible. But Russ, he does the little things. I would say Russell Westbrook and Pat Bev, they have one thing in common is they would have like the most like terrible offensive games, but the most littlest things they manage to contribute. So man, Russ, he really, really grew on me, and I don't really care what y'all say about Russell Westbrook, and I know there's still a little, well, I wouldn't say a little, I would say like there's like a certain proportion of Clippers fans they still don't like Russell Westbrook nowadays, but I'm just here to be really objective and everything. I'm not here to just like just play exact like simple like mad favoritism and all that. Like I'm just here being honest. He had a very bad offensive game in terms of scoring, but he contributed in other ways with open looks and playing his defense. And his turnovers game was actually not too bad. Like it was an 8 and 2 like assist turnover ratio. So that's also a plus that I could bring. Ari Gordon. Ooh, that man started off hot. 12 points. Ended the game off with 19 points. 3% from three, so he was hitting like three triple threes. He kind of found some players' looks too to assist. Low rebounding game. I mean, he's a shooting guard and all that. Gordon is pretty much one of the players that I really like would get on, and it's just because considering the price that we gave him for Gordon, and sometimes when you do trade a lot, it could definitely bite you in the back, and it is definitely not NBA 2K. You cannot just throw away things like nothing. But hey, Gordon, stay at your A game, Brody. Stay at your A game, and I still stand by my statement on what I personally think about the Gordon trade back in months ago. But this game, I'm really gonna give Gordon the props. It's just I felt like you could still be I don't like because Tyloo, he does his little weird thing is when he runs a 3 guard lineup. Gordon, um, Powell, Man, which I like to see playing, and then he would run Bones, and I would feel like Gordon and Bones is like I mean not Gordon, I mean Gordon and Norm is like a really funky fit because they're both like the same type of players, and I feel like you could easily like replace like a guy like either Gordon or Powell with Robert Covington. So that's why I still I definitely still stand by my statement about the Gordon trade because we already have a lot of tools. And personally, I think the Clippers would have been good enough if we just started like maybe Terrence Mann for better defense and more rebounding and all that. But that's just my opinion. Um, all right, next player, Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee, he went 3 for 3, so he shot 100%, and he also got a good amount of rebounds, so that's pretty good to hear. Defense could definitely use some work, but he definitely got a double digits rebounding night, so we definitely out rebounded the Phoenix Suns by a good amount. So that is definitely one of the key strengths of the Clippers tonight, and simple as that. And then next player, Bones Highland. Bones Highland, oh, he definitely had a really, really bad shooting night, but of course, we all know what Bones Highland is definitely capable of. Um, he definitely, like this is more of one of his more worst games. Um, but I believe next game, Bones Highland could definitely easily turn it up because Bones Highland he goes hot and cold. But that's really what happens with every single young talented scorers. I mean, heck, even like the best of the best is known for going really hot and cold at times. Like you can have like, for example, James Harden. One game, he's really amazing. Next game, he pretty much shoots like complete garbage. Or you can even use Devin Booker as an example. To be honest, Booker is also known to have a lot of stinker games at times. Or heck, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards. Oh my goodness. Like I remember he shot like 3 for 17 and all that, which is boy, that was mad terrible. But Bones Highland, of course. You know me, how I feel with, especially younger players like Bones Highland. I'm like just judging how Bones Highland is as a player. I'm definitely not gonna sell my stocks on him. Obviously, of course, he could definitely work on his efficiency. Um, his assist, he managed to get no assists, and his rebounding was very low. But he hit a three, and I definitely believe he could bounce back. Terrence Mann, um, again, amazing defender. Aside from Russell Westbrook, another guy who definitely gave KD the trouble was Terrence Mann. If only if we could see a Terrence Mann and a Robert Covington playing together, that defense would be beautiful. And 4 for 5 from the free throw, pretty efficient, and 4 rebounds. It would be nice if we get 30 minutes and all that, and hence that's why I'm not like the biggest fan of the Gordon trade because Gordon he did really good, but I feel like you already got a guy like Terrence Mann and Norman Powell, so what was the point of giving something extremely valuable for getting Eric Gordon when you could just be starting Terrence Mann for you would get more rebounds, you would get less scoring, but at the same time your defense would just get a lot better and he would definitely rebound the ball a lot more. But that's just my 2 cents. And Norman Powell shot 5 for 10, pretty efficient night. Two assists and 1 steal, which is pretty much a very good bench night from especially Man, even Plumlee, Norman Powell, and everybody pretty much played good. Russell Westbrook and Bones Highland, they both had a pretty terrible offensive night, but Russ definitely made up a lot of stuff by hustling and getting the assists and all that. But the DNPs of Robert Covington though, like you got to get the man playing, and thankfully we pretty much won this game because if we lost this game, like Russ is not going to be the first guy I'm going to blame. I'm still going to be getting on Ty Lue because some moments like when Ty Lue decided to run a 4 guard lineup, it was a little bit justifiable at times because Monty Williams did decide to go ridiculously small, but at the same time though, like Ty Lue still decided to do it even when Kevin Durant was on the floor, and you gotta get like you gotta at least like get Covington some minutes, man. But anyways, let's get to the Phoenix Suns. Um, stat sheet wise, Kevin Durant did pretty good, and he did do pretty good in the second half. But the first quarter, he went pretty cold. He was like 0 for 5. Russell Westbrook was the one who is pretty much giving Kevin Durant the trouble. Other than Kevin Durant, Terrence Mann did his thing on defense too. Um, of course, he got 11 assists, 9 rebounds, so he almost got a triple double. So that was pretty crazy dope. Um, Torrey Craig, he got 22 points, 9 for 12. Like, hey man, Torrey Craig going off definitely tells you something, and that could also be a key indicator on maybe why Covington should be getting some minutes. Like if Covington played, I don't see how Torrey Craig would get 22 points just like that. Um, that's that's just pretty obvious. Um, DeAndre Ayton, he got a solid 18 points. Solid from the mid range, but Zubac pretty much just took advantage of him for rebounding. Um, Zubac got 15. Ayton was like struggling to get rebounds, and hey, I love to see it. I love to see it. Chris Paul, he was not good either from the offense, but of course it was not as bad as Russell Westbrook. But um, you know, he definitely got a 10 assists and 10 rebounds, but Russell Westbrook definitely outperformed him on the eye test wise. Like Russ was just everywhere on defense. Like, whew, this was a crazy game. This was definitely a crazy game. Devin Booker, 10 for 19. So this was more of his good games. So Book was doing his thing. He shot over 50% from the field. Um, he didn't make any threes, but it was a lot of mid range and I'm driving through the basket. Um, but that was crazy though. I was not too surprised that Phoenix since they did Kata because it was inevitable because the star talent. But either way, Clippers actually pulled off with a W. And usually when Ty Lue pulls a ridiculous rotations, we would actually be bound to lose. But um, the Phoenix Suns still managed to lose against the Clippers even when Ty Lue pulled a four guard lineup. This definitely gives a lot of optimism. But Ty Lue, I definitely please gotta tighten up your you gotta add some size to your rotations because you know it's Kevin Durant you're playing against, and Kevin Durant he's like 6'11", and you cannot be, I don't know, putting just like Eric Gordon guarding freaking Kevin Durant, and you definitely need to add some size. I don't know what else to tell you, but the Phoenix Suns bench, they were pretty much very stagnant. You got Landry Shamet, who's an ex-Clipper, but he was hot garbage. He didn't do anything whatsoever. 2 for 5, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Pretty much like their bench was like nothing. Josh Okogie didn't do anything. So it was pretty much all their starters who was just getting all the minutes, and that's the massive benefit of playing the Phoenix Suns over the Sacramento Kings, because if you play the Sacramento Kings, they play a lot faster, and honestly, I think if we played the Sacramento Kings rather than the Phoenix Suns and, Ty Lue doing his three-guard lineup thingy, I think we would have lost game one. But considering that we played a more slower-paced team like the Phoenix Suns, um, we actually managed to pull it through. But again, the Kings do have worse defense, but again, Ty Lue ran a three-guard lineup, and guys like De'Aaron and Malik Monk would definitely fry our rotations, considering Covington got no minutes. But anyways, this definitely provides a lot of optimism, simply for multiple reasons. Of course, Russ, he had a terrible shooting night, but we still managed to actually get the W. Um, Two, Ty Lue pulling the most ridiculous rotations, but we actually managed to get a W. That was just unbelievable. That is definitely unbelievable. But this is a very a bizarre game because so many flaws that the Clippers did, but we actually managed to win. Usually, when we make a lot of the most boneheaded flaws, even not even the smallest, but I would say the average flaws that could be fixed by an average head coach, we will lose. But in rare situations like this, we actually managed to pull off a dub. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this game in general. Um, what do you think that the Clippers could just do better and all that? Obviously, I expect a lot of people going to be commenting about Russ. Need to get his offense game together, but I mean that's pretty obvious. But what else? Like, what do you think entirely do different as a head coach? Because I definitely see sense a lot of flaws in his rotations. But anyways, take care. Clipper Nation sleeping good. Peace.